Alright, so if you're new here, or if you haven't seen any of my other comic booky movie reviews, basically when I do something like this, I give my overall thoughts early on, and then I have a really big spoiler section. It kind of keeps me, it keeps me from just kind of blabbing the whole movie too much, and, if people just want to get to the review, they can just get the review. Okay, so again, overall thoughts, then there's going to be a big spoiler section, then we're going to wrap things up talking about trailers and stuff. Okay? Alright. So for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I'm going to give it an A. This is really fun. It's really enjoyable. Great performances all around. Intriguing setups. Maybe not so big twists that they maybe thought were big twists, but then trailer marketing ruined it. But other than that, yeah, that's fine. If I do have any drawbacks, again, this might be a little bit of a minor spoiler, but there's actually not that much multiversing in the multiverse, if you catch my drift. There's only a little bit of, that sort of stuff going on, and there's some points where characters just kind of seem to be spinning their wheels and, doing and saying the same thing repeatedly just to pad the runtime out, which, again, is a problem I've been having with the Marvel movies recently. So, yeah, again, thankfully, though, this one was blessedly short. It's only about, 2 hours and 20 minutes long rather than, almost 3 hours. So it at least has that going for it. And yes, again, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness gets an A.
With Hardee's new Build-A combo starting at $2.99, you get more choices. Sandwich, drink, fries, or another side dish like coleslaw, baked beans, or side salad. Choices, not just fries like other burger places. And now, when you buy any combo meal at Hardee's,
it's the never-ending battle between good and evil. Now the fate of the X-Men is in your hands when you come to Hardee's for authentic Marvel Comics X-Men action figure play sets. Each set is only 99 cents with any Hardee's combo meal. Now at Hardee's.
Okay, again, this is the big spoiler section, so skip to this point in the video and you'll avoid it. Alright? Okay, you've been warned. So basically, the main thrust of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is that, Strange, during the blip period, did not exactly endear himself to much of the general populace. Like, they think he's cool and everything, but it's like, yeah, you still kind of cheese this off a little bit. The big twist is obviously that he and Christine, that's Rachel McAdams' character, are not a couple, even though it was heavily implied they would be at the end of the first movie. Basically, because I don't think she was blipped, and she found someone else and was happy with him, and the movie actually begins with her getting married to that guy. So, and Strange is attending a very awkward wedding and knocking down some martinis. And again, at this point, we do get some more ramifications of it, where he bumps into one of his co-workers, and he's like, yeah, my brother died, and I had 2 cats, and now they're gone. In those 5 years, you sure you couldn't have found another way to beat Thanos? That didn't result in me being alone in the world? Yeah, I can't really blame a guy when he goes through that. So, yeah. There's a little bit of understanding that, like, maybe Doctor Strange, he's not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore either, Wong is. And it's then that there's an attack from an interdimensional being known as Shumagoroth, who, the fun fact you're probably going to hear from a lot of people is a character who was actually developed when Marvel held the Conan license the first time. Yeah, this was a semi-original character that owed a little bit to H.P. Lovecraft, and I'll get more, and that's a different story. But it was kind of funny because although Shumagoroth first appeared in Conan, because it was a character created for the Conan comics, Marvel actually owned it, and so it became a occasional Doctor Strange nemesis, and then it went into a weird legal limbo until Marvel eventually got the Conan license back. So yeah, but with Shumagoroth comes a young girl named America Chavez, who Strange has actually been dreaming about quite a bit. In fact, he dreamt a scenario where they were trying to get to the Book of Vishanti, and suddenly he turned on her, trying to get her power, and she jumped into a portal, and suddenly Wanda, and just sort of vanished, and she says, yeah, basically, I have the power to create portals to travel through the multiverse, and, I've worked with a bunch of Doctor Stranges trying to figure out how to fix this, because, you know, I need to get better control of my powers because I don't really have a good handle on them. And added to all of that, I'm trying to think of the other big thing. Basically, and these creatures have been attacking me, and I don't know why, if it's just because I'm traveling through the multiverse, but Doctor Strange notices some runes on Shumagoroth after he and Wong take it down, and knows that this isn't entirely just magic, it's witchcraft, and so he goes to enlist the aid of Wanda Maximoff, and, you know, they're sort of talking things over, and Wanda lets slip that she already knows who America is, without Strange mentioning her name, and it's like, yeah, she's been reading the Darkhold, if you remember the end of WandaVision, and, okay, sorry about that, I had to sneeze. I might sneeze again here at some point, but as I was saying, Wanda was reading the Darkhold, and, you know, and she realized that basically when you dream, it's you tapping into a parallel universe, basically, and, you know, you're seeing yourself in this other universe where these things happen, and because she dreams of her kids, you know, she knows that there are universes out there where they're still alive, and she wants to find one where she can be with them and raise them and possibly replace their mother. And the Darkhold can teach her to do that, and if she gets America's power, she can just open up the portal on her own. And it's like, well, you know, Doctor Strange can't have that happen, so this big fight breaks out. She attacks the Carmitage, and just as she's about to get her hands on America, a portal opens up, and America and Doctor Strange go tumbling through, and they go through all of these different multiverses, and they wind up in a... There's probably two humorous ones where there's one where they're an animated cartoon, and there's one where they're literal paint. And then they wind up on Earth 818, where Doctor Strange has sacrificed himself in the battle against Thanos. Also, this is where you get your Bruce Campbell cameo, as because it's a Sam Raimi film, obviously. He is a pizza vendor. He's a street pizza vendor who, because he accosts America trying to get payment for an order, Strange tricks him into beating himself up for the next 3 days. This will pay off at some point. And, you know, Strange and America go to the the Sanctum, where Baron Mordo is now the Sorcerer Supreme, and he says, no, you know, we're all good here, you know. But then Mordo tricks him, and it turns out, no, actually, you're not good, you know, because, you know, when these universes die, it turns out you're kind of the reason. You know, the Doctor Strange of that universe, of the multiverse, the various Doctor Stranges throughout the multiverse are always the linchpin in these things being destroyed. In fact, you know, your counterpart here learned that and founded the Illuminati. And the Illuminati consists of Captain Carter, Peggy Carter with Captain America's powers from What If, Black Bolt of the Inhumans, Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four, played by John Krasinski, the aforementioned Baron Mordo, Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and last but not least, of course, is Charles Xavier, as you saw from that one trailer. And that's kind of it. Now, this is not the... It is Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, but it's not really the one from the X-Men universe of movies. I'd say he's similar, but he's more focused on, you know, the grander scheme. He does, like, there's no talk of mutant rights or anything of that nature. However, there turns out there is a way for Wanda to pursue them through these portals, and it's through a spell in the Darkhold called Dream Walking, where she can basically possess a parallel universe self. So she can track everything down. And even though at one point the Darkhold in her dimension, or Strange's proper dimension, we'll designate the Earth 616 because that's what they call it, okay? In the Darkhold in Earth 616 gets temporarily destroyed, she is able to find where it was originally transcribed in the Temple of Chthon on Vundagore Mountain because she torches it from Wong. And so there she's able to start performing, and, you know, she teleports there. She completely obliterates the Illuminati, so, yeah, if you're hoping that this somehow makes Reed Richards canon of the Marvel Universe, yeah. I will say this with Reed Richards, they do make the illusion of the idea that there was a Fantastic Four in the 1960s. So, make of that what you will. If there's going to be some sort of time mishap that brings them to the mainstream universe, MCU maybe, I don't know. Anyway, like I said, Wanda kills the Illuminati. She gets her hands on America. They're about to get to the Book of Ashanti, which can counter the Darkhold, but Wanda destroys it before that can happen. And then she rips open a portal and sends the Christine from Earth 818, which was the Illuminati Earth, and Doctor Strange through to another dimension, and she takes America back to the 616. Whew. Yeah, there's a lot that happens. And then in the new dimension that Strange and Christine are in, they find another Doctor Strange, but this whole world, basically this is where these worlds are being destroyed. These two universes are colliding. They're both falling apart. And you see Doctor Strange there, who has been reading the Darkhold. He'd been trying to fix everything. And, you know, he kept trying and trying and trying. And he's become the new incarnation of Nightmare. A longtime Doctor Strange villain who, well, his name's pretty self-explanatory. And he's developed this third eye from reading the Darkhold so much that he got kind of addicted to it. But Strange is like, well, you know, maybe we could actually use that Darkhold to fight Wanda. And it's like, you know, could I just borrow it? You know, and he's like, no, I'll only do it if you bring me your Christine from your Earth. And it's like, apparently thinking that the Christine who's with Doctor Strange is his Christine, but no, not really. So they fight. Eventually, our Doctor Strange wins, and he uses the Darkhold to basically travel through hell itself to dreamwalk into... Okay, so yeah, there was one other thing I forgot to mention, which is basically in America's sort of little backstory. She's been working with and each Doctor Strange she works with basically tries to steal her power just to try to hopefully hold the demons off to get to the Book of Ashanti. But the problem is, yeah, exactly, she, you know, if they do that, she'll die. And, you know, it's like, you know, I'm doing this for the greater good, I'm doing this for the greater good, but it's like, hey, you're still hurting her. And basically, the one she was with very early on in the movie that Doctor Strange dreamt about, like I said, took her power, but then was killed by Shumagoroth before anything could happen. And, you know, it's so much so that when they fell through the portal, America actually brought the corpse with her. So that is the corpse. So Doctor Strange dreamwalks into that corpse and then takes control of the hell demons that were following him and uses that to attack Wanda and save America just at the last minute. And he basically points out that, you know, contrary to what everyone's been telling her, America's actually had proper control of her powers the whole time. You know, she just needs to focus and harness and use them. And, you know, that she's always had this ability. And I'll get more into America's backstory a little bit later, okay? And that kind of gets her enough energy to punch Wanda into the 818 dimension where she had possessed that version of herself. And basically when Wanda was dispossessed, she realized what had happened. And she went back to her kids and sort of warned them. And as Wanda is squaring off with this parallel universe self, she keeps trying to reach her children, and she realizes, oh, you know, I'm terrifying them. You know, I can't replace the Wanda of this dimension. My children are gone, and I need to basically accept it. And there is kind of a brief apology. They bring her back, and Wanda basically collapses the temple on herself to imply that she is, in all likelihood, dead. And she casts a spell that destroys the Darkhold across all multiversal incarnations. And, you know, America Chavez now has enough control over portal powers that she can get everyone back to where they belong. And she winds up becoming a student of a new apprentice to Wong and trying to, again, better apply her powers when needed. And I guess I did kind of forget to mention one other aspect of her backstory, and that was, you know, she is raised on a planet where, you know, she was raised by two mothers, and, you know, when her powers activated, she was stung by a bee, and it opened up a portal and sucked them away, and she thought that killed them, but Strange is insistent that they're possibly alive, so that's why she's kind of working out. She now needs to work even further on harnessing her powers more, or properly applying them more. And so, that's where that comes from. And then, it's like, basically, Doctor Strange's theme throughout this movie is the idea, not so much moving on, but actually being happy. Because, like, he's this powerful wizard, but, he lost the woman he loved, he died, and everyone sort of hates him. But now it's like, hey, I'm going to try to be happy in my own skin and try to get through everything. And, he fixes his broken watch, he starts working on some things. And then, he actually goes out to get some coffee, and he's walking down the street, and suddenly he gets struck by this bit of pain, and the third eye that was on Nightmare's head has opened up in his. It opens up on his head. And that's basically how the film ends, except for, of course, the credit sequences, which, the mid-credit scene, a woman played by Charlize Theron, who is, in all likelihood, Clea, I'll get into who she is, says, hey, there's been another incursion, we need your help. And it's like, well, okay, let me go. Let me just get my cloak and I'll be on my way. And, they leave. And then the post-credits is, again, Bruce Campbell still beating himself up until finally, after the 3 days are up, he's free of the spell. He goes, it's over! And that's how it ends. Back to the mid-credit scene. Clea is pretty much Doctor Strange's primary love interest. She's now the new Sorcerer Supreme in the Marvel Comics because Doctor Strange is currently listed as dead, I believe. Clea is also the daughter of the Dread Dormammu. So, if we do get a Doctor Strange 3, I'm guessing that's probably where it's going to lean in more. I'd like to see some other Strange villains in there, too. Like, could we see Eternity or someone else show up as well? So that's kind of how everything goes. And, like I said, now that I think the spoiler section is sufficiently over enough, like I said, overall, really great performances, really good cast chemistry, really nice special effects and cam work. I mean, it is Sam Raimi after all. There's a lot of scenes eerily reminiscent of, Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, Drag Me to Hell. So, there's a lot of stuff that, if you saw those movies and like those movies, you're going to see there. And, like I said, it's a good Sam Raimi film. It's a good Doctor Strange film. Everything works well. If there is, like I said, if there was really a complaint, again, there's not a lot, you think, like, oh, you could have had hopping through multiverses. You could have one where they're furry animal creatures, or something like this, or something like this, or something like this, and there really isn't outside of that one little brief montage, and then, everything else kind of, I will say this, again, the big scene with the Illuminati, obviously Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier is fine, but seeing, John Krasinski as Reed Richards, definitely worked. Like I said, I don't know if that necessarily, how well that's going to work in the MCU, but, if it will ever translate to the MCU, but if it does, I think it can work. So, from there, like I said, and again, there are some very wheel-spinning minutes, like, the idea is Wong briefly winds up helping Wanda because she's threatening to take the lives of all of the people at the Carmitage, and it's like, fine, I'll help you, but you need to keep this, you need to try to keep things in check and just, not kill everyone just yet. And, when he tries to fight back against her, she sends him over the side of a cliff, and he winds up hanging on there for like a big chunk of the movie. And there's kind of just this, okay, we get that, but, can we at least go back to this? And, instead we're focusing on, Wanda, walking around the Temple of Cthon and noticing this mural of her on the wall and all of it. It's like, can we just get back to the plot and move that forward? Because there's kind of this, she possesses her parallel universe self, and then it's like she just vanishes for 20 minutes, and it's like, okay, maybe cut out a couple of just dead spots and tighten the movie up a little bit more. Like, it's not as criminally long as Spider-Man No Way Home or the Batman were, but still, like, again, that's probably just minor picks. Like I said, minor nitpicky stuff. I still gave it an A, so I still recommend that you go out and see this. So yes, again, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness gets an A.
Injustice makes him boil, evil makes him burn, and then Danny Ketch becomes the Ghost Rider. Flame Glow Ghost Rider, blaze and vengeance, ride in the name of justice. With whip chains, hidden projectiles, and with flaming discs and a ghost fire gun, they destroy scum like Zarathos and Skinner. If evil makes you burn, ride with new Flame Glow Ghost Rider, defender of the innocent. Cycles come with figures, other figures sold separately.
Okay, trailer time, and yeah, we got some new ones in here too. I mean, and we got a new version of a trailer, but we got League of Super Pets. Nope, that's the Jordan Peele Alien Invasion movie. Bob's Burgers again, Top Gun Maverick again, Jurassic World Dominion, and then we finished up with Thor: Love and Thunder. Okay, so yeah, basically the movie TV review for the rest of May works out this way. The next one is going to be Chippendales Rescue Rangers. That's on Disney Plus on May 20th. Then we're going to do Bob's Burgers on, most likely May 27th. And then the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi probably on the 28th. Maybe, again, depending on when things get out. But yeah. And unfortunately, I did want to see Top Gun Maverick, but right now I just don't see it happening. That's going to be a real busy weekend because I also have a random trade review episode that's going to be coming out that day, or that weekend. So, yeah, it's like I just don't know if I could get all of that done in that time frame. Again, and I'd rather show my love for Bob's Burgers than for a kind of pointless Top Gun sequel. I love Top Gun, but I'm looking at this and the plot doesn't make that much sense if you think too much about the time frame. So yeah, that's why I'm skipping Top Gun Maverick for now. Maybe I could do a belated review of it when it comes out on streaming or something. Okay, so after that, the next video overall though is going to be the Impact Wrestling Under Siege recap and review. Then the recap and review for WrestleMania Backlash. And then after that, it's going to be the random trade review on the Marvel Masterworks Thor Volume 1. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember, you can help support my channel at patreon.com/SleepyTimeForCat Productions, where you can help request a movie, even if it's something like, say, Sonic the Hedgehog or the next Purge film. I'll review it.